Lost media is a concept that has created a buzz in the last couple of years. Pieces of media, games, songs, videos that just vanish without a single trace. Thanks to the internet, some of these pieces of media that were considered utterly lost have been recovered. This game is one of those cases, a game that didn't do all that well, but has now seen a resurgence thanks to newfound interest in this unique game and its story. But first, let me tell you how this became a piece of lost media. Tomomi Sakuba was a surrealist illustrator, known for his strange and eccentric illustrations. Sakuba's illustrations try to disturb the viewer and give life to incomprehensible horrors through his art. In the 1990s, video games got his attention, so he began to learn how to program and started developing his first games, which never really saw the light of day, but they ended up becoming the first drafts for what would eventually become his first real game. For the ambitious creation of Garage, he got the help of programmers, producers, and even a composer, a small group by the name of Kinotrope, and by 1999, Garage was released. He had finally done it, but unfortunately, his career in the video game industry would be rather short-lived. There were only 3,000 copies of the game ever produced. Plus, it doesn't help that both the reviews dunked on it and that no one was really buying it. The game officially flopped. But a decade later, the myth of the game began to spread through the internet. It was rare to see a copy of the game, but when there was one for sale, it was for ridiculous prices. Another thing that really set in the mysterious aura around the game is the fact that no one had uploaded anything regarding the game to the internet. Eventually, someone managed to get the game and became hell-bent on uploading it to the internet so people could play it. And they did. The game was now available for the general public. Eventually, we even got an English translation, so us Westerners could play it without having to learn Japanese. It was released on the Switch, and recently, it even got a Steam version, almost 2 months ago, on the 8th of July, which is the one I'll talk about today, since I don't really own a Switch, and I play games on my computer. But still, yeah, Garage. So, after all that talk, let's boot up the game. Oh god! Oh, that's fucking hideous. Well, should have expected that. Okay. Let's get this straight. Garage is not a pretty game. The subtitle is literally Bad Dream Adventure. It's far from pretty, and that's the point. The game comes from Sakuba's mind, and we've already gotten to see a bit into his catalog of nightmarish artwork. It's so unbelievably disturbing, it presents us with one of the grimiest and sludgiest worlds in video game history, probably. The atmosphere is as dense as the fog around Silent Hill. The buildings are dilapidated and dirty, the characters can best be described as sleep paralysis demons, and the whole experience feels extremely unsanitary. In fact, the first time I booted up the game, I felt like I needed 5 tetanus shots just to play it. The world is built wonderfully. There are elements like energy circulation, an ecosystem, and how exactly the world came to be is actually intertwined tightly with his story. It's best reflected in the game system, bringing to life the feeling of wonder and morbid curiosity of being in another world. This game brings forth a strange feeling of strangeness and almost anxiety while playing it. So basically, you're going to feel unnerved and filthy while playing this. Good. But the beauty about it is that, well, yes, there's an almost horror atmosphere. The game is far from being a horror game. It's actually an adventure game. It just feels like a horror game. It's almost as if they made a Sam & Max game with H.R. Geiger as the art director. And it's really cool, there's an abundance of overly cute games. It's time we got the video game equivalent of dystopia's human equals garbage nihilistic rhyme. Or just the feeling of living in Belgium. It's considered an extremely bizarre game for a reason. There's nothing here that sticks to the norm of anything, except for maybe the controls. The mechanics of this game aren't as complicated as those in other games. It's a point-and-click game, and that should tell you that all you really need to play is a mouse. You can use it to move the character around the map and interact with things. There are also some in-game mechanics that you gotta keep track of. The fuel and the ego bars. Fuel as a half-machine monstrosity is kind of important. You're half-machine. If the bar empties out completely, you die. Every time you move, a tiny bit of fuel is consumed, but you can refuel at the gas stations around the garage. The ego meter is a bit weird. You can refuel it at an ego station, but what is ego for? Well, without ego you can't do anything. In fact, running out of ego renders you practically invisible, experiencing a mental death. The game also has like many RPG elements such as character development through body mutilation, and most importantly, an intricate fishing system. Oh yeah! But fear not, because the story is also quite simple. For some inexplicable reason, you've woken up inside the body of this thing, and you're just experiencing a nightmare from which you're trying to escape, exploring the scenery and talking with other grotesque characters who really seem to be in perpetual agony. So, you know, the average day in Belgium. I know with the twisted visuals and complicated backstory, you're probably expecting a deep analysis on the human experience and how we're a plague on this world through the eyes of incomprehensible mechanical creatures, but no. It's just a simple, if unsettling, adventure game. So, to conclude, I want to say that this game is absolute filth, it's gross, it makes me want to wash my hands before, after, and while I'm playing, and I love it. It does that nightmarish visuals thing 100 times better than what modern games are trying today. This is a game I'm not going to recommend to everyone. But if you're a fan of depression, horrors beyond human comprehension, hard hallucinogenic drugs, life in Eastern Europe, or H.R. Geiger, I don't see why you shouldn't play it. It's not a long game and it's relatively unpleasant, which you probably like considering your taste is. Not king shaming, just disappointed. So yeah, this game is going to have a permanent spot in my nightmares. The bizarre and twisted world these characters reside in is going to settle deep into my subconscious. It's really just a game that can be described as really fucking weird, and it looks like something the Zodiac Killer made himself. But it was fun playing it and researching the story behind this little peculiar experience. I give it my highest seal of approval. It's a game that for the 1% of my audience that loves twisted body horror, it's right for you. If you don't belong to that 1%, I recommend you stay far from it. You're not ready. Go play Viva Pinata or something. Thanks for watching.